Hello, Internet. So it's been a while, hasn't it? I've been a busy boy, but not with my model railway and not with this YouTube channel, obviously. My apologies, life has just got in the way. That's what happens when you're making other plans, right? So there it is. So, quick update. By the time you've watched this, I've not written it yet, but by the time you watch this, I'll send it. I'm going to, the HM7000s that I've got in here, I'm going to send a little email to Hornby and say, look, this is the exploit, this is the problem, this is how you can, a stranger can kind of reset your train. And we'll just see what they say. I'm expecting them to say, "Yeah, we know, we don't care." That's what I'm expecting, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I had a kind of sarcastic comment on one of the previous videos saying, is it worth wetting yourself over this? Look, guys, let me explain this to you. Right, there are people out there who are not normal. Arguably, everyone in this hobby is not normal because it's quite a niche hobby, but you know what I mean, like not normal in a nasty way. So imagine. You're at an exhibition, you see a layout like this, well, hopefully a lot better than this, but you see a layout like this, and you have one of these in your pocket. So this is a M5 Nano C6. It's a small computer, not very powerful, not much storage, you're not playing games on it or what have you, because I've got a screen for a start. But basically, this is for a completely unrated project. This has nothing to do with the trains. I'm not going to do this. I'm not even going to try and do it as a proof of concept. Just trust me that it is possible. This thing can talk on Bluetooth, which is what the HM7000 uses. It can also talk on Wi-Fi, which is kind of what I'm interested in for the other project that it's needed for. So you could walk in with this. It's got a little USB-C at the end of it, just like a lot of modern phones have. So imagine you've got a power brick you can get from Amazon, about the size of that bit that's sticking up there. You have that in your pocket, USB-C cable to there. Your code running on this thing, you've run it at home, you've tested it. And basically, as soon as it's powered up, it takes about 2 or 3 seconds to power up, and it's immediately scanning for HM7000s on Bluetooth. And then, it's actually not super clear, but this is actually a button on here. Can you hear that clicking? I'm not sure if you can hear that clicking. You click the button, it then sends the commands to reset all the trains, and you're annoying people. And then maybe you can maybe if you hold the button or double click the button, it will then take control of the trains and then fire them at full speed. Very unlikely, don't get me wrong, very unlikely, but you just think about the things that people do in this hobby. You think, oh, that's clever, and that's people doing things that are smart because they want to have nice things done and they want to have a nice effect. And the DCC protocol in itself is kind of a clever thing. It's quite an old thing. Back in I think it was the 70s it first came out, so it's an old protocol now. It's a 50-year-old protocol in essence, for its very beginnings. That was all clever stuff. You're sending signals over the power lines here. It's clever. It just takes 1% or 0.5% or 0.25% to not be normal in a nasty way. And yeah, someone could do that. So anyway, I'm going to let Hornby know. Maybe it isn't a big deal. And if Hornby come back, and I'm almost certain they're going to come back and say, yeah, we know, we don't care. Or it's going to ignore me. It's going to be one of those two. Then it is what it is, and eventually I'll just go full disclosure on it, because eventually I think people deserve to know if there is a security issue with these things they're installing in their trains. Anyhow, moving on. What have I done? So I've now got magnetic couplings. Can't remember if I even made a video on these. These are brilliant from West Hill Wagon Works. I've had zero issues with them. I know some people have had issues with them, but I've had no issues in them detaching other than when I want them to. Brilliant. Got them all on here as well. Yeah, that was actually one of the easiest things to do. The only issue I had, and I think this is Hornby's fault rather than theirs, is on the HSTs, both of these on the other end as well. The whole thing came out. Not just the magnet didn't detach. The whole bit of the item came out. If I just show that, this bit at the end just kept coming out. It didn't come out of the carriages, which would suggest to me that it was, and it didn't matter if I swapped them over, it kept following the train. It wasn't the item, it was the trains. So just a little bit of hot glue in there, popped them in, that solved that one. And I've just had delivered these from Trainomatic. So there's two in there. They're both stay alives, because the Hornby one is both out of stock and too big for the A1. Is that an A1? That's the Flying Scotsman, the A1, yeah, and the A3, A4 here. The Hornby ones, even if they were in stock, they're still too big. Even the smaller ones are still, in my opinion, too big. So I'm going to try that. Peachy reckons it'll work, and he's pretty good at these kind of things. So if Peachy says it'll work, it'll probably work. So I'm going to try that, because I have the exact same issue he does, where the train moves like a millimetre or so and just keeps cutting out and cutting out and cutting out. Even with the cleanest track you can imagine, you clean the wheels, yeah, once these trains get going, they're fine, but it's just kind of annoying and embarrassing if you're showing someone else as well. The train just keeps cutting out. I'll give it 5 minutes. Once it's warmed up, it's okay. The HST doesn't do it. It can cut out if the track is a bit dirty, which is fair enough. I'm actually wondering, and with the HSTs, I'm just going to fit the Hornby part because it's available. Well, no, it's not available, excuse me. I've pre-ordered it, and the Hornby part will just fit in here without any modification, but I am going to have to make my own one with the Train-O-Matics to fit into these two. That's just how it goes. Bit of a misstep from Hornby in my view. The Hornby Stay Alive can't fit into the new Hornby trains. It feels like they've dropped the ball on that one, in my opinion. But I'm actually wondering, so these ones have got the little white thing on the end there to plug straight into the HM7000, which is not in focus. I need to start editing these videos, don't I? Anyway, these plug straight into the HM7000 without modification, as long as you can physically fit everything. This has not got the HM7000 in it. It's got that Zymo decoder thing in it. I actually think these are also compatible with that. So I'm going to do some research and find out, and then take it apart yet again, but hopefully finally for the last bloody time, because I've already damaged some of the detail on that thing. Fit one of these and then just be really happy with the result. I think it's going to go really, really well. Because yeah, at the moment this thing stutters on these points here. Partly because I screwed them into there's a little dent in there, so I screwed them into harshly into the baseboard. I've since dealt with that, and I've put weirdly paper towel underneath there and screwed it back in. That has leveled it out. But I happen to know, I know because it's just a thing in this hobby. These short wheelbase things, because they're quite short trains, which they have to be because they have to be accurate, right? They just don't like any kind of on level track, and they just cut out. And the capacitor I've got in there now does definitely help. It definitely helps, but it's not quite as good as perhaps what these will be. I think it's worth a punt if I check compatibility. I think it's worth a go. That's it. I have ideas now of what I want to do with the layout. Thank you for the feedback I got on a previous video about when I asked, like, what would you do? I'm thinking. I was thinking a hill here with a tunnel. But then I realised if I'm looking at the layout in this direction, which I will be, then I'll have the back end of the hill here, and it's not going to look very good. So instead of that, we're going to have the hill going over here and the tunnel. So it's going to the tunnel entrance is going to be here to about there. I want a tunnel, right? It's my first layout. I want a bloody tunnel. We can have that. Actually, probably have the tunnel start ending about here, actually, and have a nice kind of something here. You know, some greeny grass and maybe a cottage or something, and some little sheep grazing. I don't know, something like that. I've got the overall idea. I haven't got the detail nailed down, guys. Bear with me. Then we're going to have a road crossing here, and this can be like a yard, which then would interface with that and kind of give it a bit of a story. What the yard will do and put on there, I don't know. I mean, it's got a whole mixture of different carriages on there. I'll have to get some sort of. I probably have to get several of the same carriage, in which case I might just make them. That's an idea. And then we have a road going over here, and then a few houses, and then that train station going along here. That's the plan. I have been asked if I wouldn't mind showing this on an open day for our local train club. I said to the chairman, I'll think about it. And then I made the mistake of bringing this in the next week, and he measured it and said, "Well, put your name down." He's quite a. Yes, he knows how to get stuff done for sure. He'll just assume you said yes. I'll think about it means yes. And they asked me that 3 or 4 times, and I kept saying no. Then I said I'll think about it, and that was a yes in their heads. And I said, my man, this is not going to be anywhere near like ready to show off. And he goes, no, it's not an exhibition. It's an open day. We want to see it in progress. That's the whole point. I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. So okay, fine. So yeah, this might be shown to the public soon. Definitely in an unfinished state. So, but I don't want it to be this unfinished. I want something whereby these trains are not stuttering all the time and they're going around. So I'm probably going to show the HST and the 08 just going around and around. I'm not going to show the steam ones, I think, because that might be, I don't know, we'll figure that out. And I want to have either the road sort of in progress or done, or the hill in progress or done. I think I'm going to do the hill first. I got some insulating foam from B&Q, so we'll see if that works. This stuff which I had kicking around, this packaging stuff, it's too tough and springy. It's not very malleable, so I don't want to use that. I've got some bandages as well, which my girlfriend gave me, so that was useful. So I think you can use that to kind of. I've been watching loads of YouTube videos on it recently, so I think we can use that to kind of do things. Yeah, that's it, guys. So thank you for watching the video for this far in. Right, I'm gonna try and do some soldering now. Yeah, and see if I can get these fitted and see what happens. So if you get another video from me with trains moving around, you'll know it worked. If you don't get another video from me, you can probably just assume that I broke something and I'm quite upset about it and I don't want to make a video. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.